Hey everybody, what wins in trading? Offense or defense? Trading or not trading? Great entries or great stops? That's what this video is all about. Alright, so the great debate is whether you're supposed to learn how to take great entries or whether you're supposed to learn how to stop out of your trades. And of course, listen, trading's gonna have lots to do with both of those things, but there's a critical component to trading, and that is that defense wins championships. In other words, the score takes care of itself. In 1970s, the Italian soccer team won the World Cup. And in the mid-90s, I remember screaming and yelling with all of my friends as the Italians, the Azzurri, almost won the World Cup, or did win the World Cup, or whatever. And everybody was mad at this team because all they did was play defense. They just sat on the back of the field and they played defense. And I can hear some of you from Brazil and from France and from Germany, you're already mad at me. However, it's defense that wins. If you think of great baseball teams or great pitchers like Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling, who played for the Arizona Diamondbacks, boo, and beat my teams, they had great defense, they had great pitching, they were striking batters out. If you think of great American football teams, they were playing defense. They were keeping the other team from scoring points. And in the world of trading, the other team is the market. And your best bet to long-term success is to play defense. And then, as the famous American football coach Bill Walsh said, the score takes care of itself. I almost said Joe Walsh. That's a completely different person with a completely different philosophy on life. But anyway, so what does it mean to play defense when you're doing your trading? It means you're thinking about stop losses and you're thinking about account protection. And most people think that that means place your stop loss as close to your entry price as possible. But that's not true at all. That's absolutely not the point. The point is that you never let a loss get out of control. The point is that you never let a trade get so crazy and so wrong that you ever risk losing a substantial amount of your account. And that could mean, in certain circumstances, that your stop loss is actually really far away. And here's the key. Your trade size is essential to playing defense. Here's what I mean by that. In a typical trading scenario, a trader will enter a position of, say, 1,000 shares, or almost the maximum number of shares that their trading account can support. Or if they're trading FX, they'll trade the maximum number of lots that they can without eliminating their margin completely. And this is insane, because it gives you no margin for error, and it gives you no room to be wrong, and if you are wrong, it's super disappointing and super frustrating and even psychologically debilitating. But what if instead of doing that, we reduced our trade size down so far that even if the market crashed against us, like it did with the Swiss National Bank a few years ago, if the market just blew up out of control, that you'd be fine, and it wouldn't really represent a big loss. In other words, no single trade should ever make or break our entire trading account. Ever. Instead, you take a small position, you give yourself a giant wide stop, so you just trade a few shares to start with, and then you have a really giant wide stop that if it's hit, maybe you lose 1% of your total trading capital. But then if the trade starts to go in your favor, boom, boom, you start adding to the winning position. And in that manner, you could still get something substantial out of a great move that you predicted, but you don't lose a lot of money from a move that doesn't go in the way that you expected. My friend Boris once told me another strategy for doing this is to enter your position with the full trade size. Like, go ahead and put on that full trade size, but for every small amount that the trade goes against you, start eliminating or closing down your position. So as the position goes further against you, you lay off the position. You start throwing furniture overboard as the ship is going down, and you get out of the position as things get worse. And then as the position comes back in your favor, you put that trade back on. Now that's playing defense, and that's how you win the game of trading. I'm Rob Booker. Have the best day ever.